Hello, hello. I want to welcome you here. Thank you for taking part in the July bundle tutorials. So whether you purchase that from me or purchase that from one of the other fantastic Stampin' Up! Demonstrators, I want to welcome you here. So today, what I want to do is I wanted to create using the Hippos, which is the celebration item. I created a spinner card. Now, I found a fantastic tutorial on the amazing Jennifer McGuire. A lot of us know who she is. So credit to her. And hopefully I will do her proud with my creation, kind of following her YouTube. So without any further ado, let me bring the camera down and show you. So when you take the card out of the envelope, this is what happens when you open up. So it's a Z fold. It spins, okay? Now, this was my first attempt. So here we go with my second attempt at this. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to start with a half sheet of Night of Navy. You can use any color that you want. And we're going to score that at 4 1/4, which is your standard A2 card base. So let's get that set up. Give that a score. And a burnish. Where's my bone folder? Where is my bone folder? I kind of organized, and I don't know if this happens to you when you organize, you actually lose things. I can't find my Stampin' Up! Bone folder. I'll have to go on a hunt. Let's use this in the meantime. That will work. So now we've got our standard A2 card base, okay? I want to adhere, I'm going to need that again, but I want to adhere 2 pieces of 4 1/8 by 5 3/8 from the design series paper from the celebration catalog. So I'm using some celebration items here. So for every $60 that you spend in Canada, you get to choose something free from the catalog. So this little guy right here in the corner, that's what you're using. This is Rings of Love. So again, 4 1/8 by 5 3. And I want to make sure that I keep that pattern going, okay? So we're going to put some adhesive behind here, and this is going to go on the inside of your card base, okay? Now we're going to be cutting that out, so I want to make sure that I don't have any adhesive in the middle, and I'm doing that on purpose, just because I don't want to get adhesive onto my circle die. So let's just make a little frame, being sure that I put that down the proper way. And I just want a little bit of a border. So, I'm kind of, that's not good. I'm eyeballing left, right, top, bottom. I do have a little bit of adhesive right there. I like my Tombow. It gives me that wiggle room that I need to have. So I want to make sure that the stickiness is not on there. Once it dries, I'll just pull out my little, now this is going to go here and my pattern continues, right? So we're going to put our adhesive down on that, and hopefully my card base isn't going to jump up like it did last time. This one, I'm not worried about adhesive not being on the center. And again, I'm being careful that I am following in the pattern. It's not imperative. It's just me. It's just me. Again, I'm eyeballing left, right, top, bottom. Now I know nothing came through on that side. I'm a tiny bit sticky right there. This is a great little tool, and it mostly works when your adhesive is dry. I think I'm pretty good actually, but let's just pick that up just in case. Once you purchase one of these, you'll never have to replace it unless you lose it. And then every now and then I just kind of pull off some of the yuckies. So there's our card base, but we want a Z-fold. So we're going to score again. So right now we are 4 1/8. So we want to score, or 4 1/4 is the card base. So we want to score at 2 1/8, which is our halfway point. I'm still looking for my bone folder. Don't know where I put it. So we want to score the front portion at 2 1/8. Whoops, I moved. 2 1/8. There we go. Give that a really good score. I'm pressing hard, but not ridiculously hard. Fingers crossed that this worked. Let's give that a burnish. And let's just burnish that whole front side, because it is a little bit thick. Now you do not have to use DSP. You can just use cardstock and not bother with the DSP. I liked the look. Another thing that you can do, now this is just a sample and I maybe shouldn't have done it this way with 2 different colors. You can also take a large stamp set, right? So again, this is going to be the inside of your card, and then this would be your 2 1/8. So here's an example of just doing it with stamping a large image rather than using DSP. Okay, now if this wasn't 2 different colors, although it might look okay, but we're going to continue with this one. Now what I want to do, and I totally forgot to do it, is let's just take a piece of scrap paper. I'm going to show you a little trick for this, and Jennifer did cover this, and I thought, you know what, that is fantastic. I love that. You're going to use your layering circle dies. Now the one that I'm using is 2 1/2 and 2 1/4. Now what I've done with the Sharpie, I don't know if you can see that, I actually marked all of my dies with the size. So this is your 2 1/2 inch circle. I am just using computer paper, and I'm going to run the 2 1/2 inch circle through with my cut and emboss machine. I'm going to need that again, but what I want is this little guy here. And I will show you the reason. If I fold this in half to get a true half, then when I lay this down on here, I am making sure that I am completely even. So what I'm meaning is, if I put this down here to cut my circle, I might have a little bit more on this side than that side, okay? But if I use this as my guide and put this down, and I know that this is approximately where I would have my circle cut out. Let's take that off. I am going to line that up like so. I can then very gently remove my mask, or my whatever you want to call it. Let's get, when I created my original card at the lake, I didn't have Post-it note tape. And what I used was green painter's tape. And I actually, I'll show you, I actually tore a little bit of, and I used my blending brush to hide it. I tore a little bit of my design paper. So if you do use painter's tape, make sure you put it against your clothes for just a minute, just to get some of that extra sticky off. Now what I want to do is I actually want to open this up like so. Here is going to be the circle for our spinner card, okay? I just use the tape so that I've got good placement of that. Let's run that through using, I'm going backwards here. Let's run that through using, I'm not used to doing it this way. I'm not left-handed. Our 2.5 inch circle. Okay, you're going to see that pop out on the other side. There we go. Let's finish that off. Did I go right through? Yes, I did. So I want to very gently bring up my Post-it note. Where did I put my take your pick? Because I do not want to rip my DSP. Let's just roll that. So because there's the extra thickness of the DSP along with the cardstock and the cut and emboss machine, it kind of gets pushed down really well. So I'm just helping to release it a little bit. And let's just very gently roll that up like so. There we go. Okay, so you can use that for something else if you would like. There, and I did not tear it this time. That was the 2.5 inch circle. Okay, there's the beginning of our card. Let's get our sentiment on there. What I did was I cut a 2.25 inch, see my marking? 2.25 inch basic white circle, which is going to go in here, okay? But before we do that, let's just tuck that out of the way. I want to get a sentiment. Now you want to use a photopolymer because I want that circled, okay? And I'm going to make it into a birthday card again. And there is my happy birthday. Let's get our Stamparatus out. And what I'm going to do is I am going to use these, either one, it doesn't matter, as my guide for putting my sentiment down. Okay, let's line up our sentiment. So I've got my photopolymer because it can be rounded. And let's put this down following the roundness of what we cut out, okay? So now we are on the wrong side. Let's put that down on our Stamparatus and match up the design so that it makes sense. Okay, so we are going to go about, do you see what I'm doing? How I'm turning that to match where my sentiment's going to go. I want to make sure my paper does not move. Let's just double check. But my sentiment moved. So I've got my card base already set down here. This is giving me action today, and it worked like a charm last time. Let's get that down like so and bring that. We want to curl that as much as we can so that it's on a nice circle arc. And that is pretty close to where we want it. So we're just going to move. I'm matching up the circle. There we go. I like that. Give that a press down so it doesn't go anywhere. And you know what? I forgot my foam mat. I am not doing so hot here today. Where is my foam mat? Let's try this again. Thank you for bearing with me. As you can see, when it's live, we run into issues sometimes. I sure do. Okay, let's try this again. Line up our circle. I know I need this a little bit lower. So I'm matching up what I previously cut out using this, and I quite like where I'm at. Let's move that happy down just a little bit. I do like that. Okay, let's get our basic gray, or you can use Memento. I am a basic gray fan myself. We're going to come down with our sentiment. We're going to give it a little massage using our pressure tool. My girlfriend's husband creates these. If you are interested, let me know, and I can get you one. So it's not perfect, but I'm still okay with that. It is a handmade card after all. I'm going to show you another trick using the Stamparatus. I'll just set that there for now. I have gone ahead and I've stamped this little guy here, okay, and I've already colored it in using my stamping blends, but I want this hippo to look the same on either side. Let me show you how I did that. So we're still going to need our Stamparatus. You're also going to need, and this is red rubber, so I don't need my mat. You are also going to need a silicone sheet, okay? And I'm going to show you why. Let's get that nicely cleaned up. This is how you would stamp a mirrored image. So no matter what you wanted, like let's say there was a vase of flowers facing a certain way, but you want it facing an opposite way, you can use this technique for that as well. So we're going to take our same little hippo, and we're going to place that little guy right about there. Okay, so I am on this grid here. I'm just taking note of where I'm at. Okay, so if you take note of where you're at, that I'm right here on that grid. Okay, let's pick that up. So let's clean that off. And let's do it again. Ink has transferred onto my silicone mat. Let's get my cardstock down. That's better. Not as dark as it worked when I did it at the lake. I'm not sure why, but I wonder if it would be different if I used Memento. Let's give that a shout and see. Clean that off. I would redo the whole video, but you know what? I want to show you that I am human and things don't always go as planned. So the ink is on there. Let's get that guy down there. Now this is with Memento, much better. Okay, see that? So now, do you see how my little hippos are going opposite direction? All right, here we go. Maybe now I'm on a roll. We need to cut that out using the Hippo dies, which of course I forgot to bring forward. So you know what? Let's just fussy cut it instead. This does come with Hippo dies. And so I would actually, because the other hippo is a mirrored image, I would not be able to use the die anyway. So I would have to fussy cut it. So we're just going to fussy cut both of them. And then I'm going to show you another little trick that I did. So I'm just fussy cutting this little guy. And I'm also giving this one a chance to dry. Okay, let's get this one colored up, and I want to color it up similar to my first one, because when it spins, you want it to look the same. So there's my flower. That was Light Poppy Parade. This is Dark Soft Succulent for my leaf. This is Dark Balmy Blue for his eye, and I forgot to do that eye. But before I do this one, let's use our light crumb cake. Now, because we are using blender pens, you actually do want to use Memento. So now that I think about it, I'm not sure why I was trying to use crumb cake in the first place. Silly me. You can also paint this little guy using gray and not brown. But I started with crumb cake, so we're going to finish that up. I'm trying to avoid his tummy or her tummy. And I do want to, as best as I can, paint this the same as I did my first one. I'm not the best with my blender pens, but I still use them. So I'm going darker on that side on purpose, okay? Now we're going to grab our light balmy blue, and I'm just using the bullet end, give him a little bit of a blue eye. Let's get our light petal pink, and again I'm using the bullet tip. Let's do the ear and the tummy, just like I did on the last one. And a little bit of cheek color, just like so. Okay, let's give that a fussy cut. So when I fussy cut, I try as best I can to let the scissors do the work as I turn my paper. Get some of that excess off. It's just easier when you have a smaller amount. Not everybody likes to fussy cut. I do. I love fussy cutting. I'm not the best, but I still love it. Because in the end, I always end up being fairly pleased after all. Now what I also want to do when I'm finished with this is I'm going to pull my blender pens out again, because I just want to kind of color in the basic white that is showing on both. Okay, so we're going to grab our brush tip again of our light. I did pull out the dark, but I'm not really using it. So with the brush tip, I am just filling in all the white along the edges, like so. And then up here and around the ears. Okay, I think no, I didn't do this one yet. There, so now all the edges are done. Just trying to hide some of this white right along the edge, like right on the edge where I snipped. Okay, there we go. Now we're going to take a piece of twine. Now if I was at the lake, I would use fishing line, because you can use fishing line, or clear thread, because you can purchase that too. I don't happen to have any. So I'm going to go about 8 inches because I want something to play with. let's get our, we can use tear and tape, or you could use your Stampin' Seal. And let's put that down on both of these little guys. If your Stampin' Seal is having a hard time starting, you can use your silicone mat. So I put that strip kind of in the middle of my Hippo, and let's get these guys matched up. So my twine is in the center, and see, because I did that little trick, you know what, I should have put liquid adhesive down as well. Let's just tear that apart. Let's put a little bit of, liquid adhesive just on one edge. Come on. Just kind of painting it. And I'm trying to stay fairly close to the edge of my Hippo. I don't want this guy to go anywhere because the card will be played with. Okay, let's do that again. Take this guy and just kind of wiggle that in. Voila, that's better. Yeah, so you definitely want some liquid adhesive. Now see how they're both the same on either side, okay? Now back to our card, which is, where did I put it? Right here. We're going to need our tape again. And what you're going to do is you're going to put your Hippo in your circle, and you're following the line from your score on both the top and the bottom. So I want to grab my Post-it note tape and bring it around that side. And I'm following my score line and bring it around that side. So there's my score line and there's my twine. Now again, if you have fishing line, you can use that. I want to take my Tombow that's in here, because this is nice and thin, and I want to apply adhesive right on that score line, like so. And just massage that in, and then I'm going to do the same at the top on the score line and just rub that in a little bit. It doesn't look very nice right now, but it's going to dry clear. There we go. And if I fold that over like so, there is the beginning of my spinner card. Okay, I'm going to let that sit for just a bit while we work on this little circle. This is cardstock. This is not that piece that I used for my to help me know where to go. I can't talk today. This is just a small 2 1/4 piece of basic white. Let's grab our silicone mat, and I want to put some cute little dragonflies from the dragonfly garden. Okay, I've taken that out already. I have it mounted, and I'm just going to use smoky slate. I just want a light covering of it. I want to make sure that my dragonflies are in the direction that I want. And let's put that there and one right there. For now, this is probably dry, so I can gently remove this. Take my favorite scissors. I wish Stampin' Up! Would bring these back, and give that a snip up there, and this a snip down there. We're going to put some adhesive behind here. Just a little bit of Tombow will do. Make sure those are lined up the way I want them. And I should have put this down before I did my hippo. But as today goes for me, you can see that there's still a way around. So before you put your hippo down, put your circle down. Okay? Don't follow what I do. There we go. There we go. Now, you know what? I want a few more dragonflies on my card. You don't need to. Entirely up to you. And let's just have a little bunch up there and there. Why not? Now, because we are using Night of Navy, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a piece of basic white cardstock at the back, and I have pre-cut that to size. I thought I had. Yeah, I think I'm pretty good. Let's see here. And I can write my sentiment on here. So let's get some adhesive on there. Like so. I usually work on my silicone mat, and I keep forgetting. We were away for the month of May, and so I'm trying to get back into this, and I feel like I'm constantly bumbling through everything. My Facebook Live today kind of bumbled through. I'd love for you to check that out if you would. So now our card is complete. What you would do before you put this in your envelope is you would just give your little element a twist, and then you're going to put it in your envelope. And then when it comes out, it's going to spin around. So that's the little spinner card. I hope you enjoyed my little tutorial here, and that I didn't bumble through too much for you. And if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I'd be very happy to help you with that. So here is our little hippo spinner card. We'll talk to you later. Have a great day. Bye.